What's up, everybody? My name is OUTSHADES, and today I'm going to be showing you how I remade Leon's combat theme from Resident Evil 9 Requiem, which comes during the hospital fight scene. Let's get started. Okay, so first of all, we have a few elements here. Unlike the intro theme, this one is quite simple when it comes to production. It has a few simple elements which you can easily tell when you're hearing the theme for the first time. So I'm gonna play you a little bit of how it sounds. Okay, so as usual, we're gonna start with the guitars first and see how everything is working. First of all, let's check the driving element of the theme, which is the main lead melody, which is wooden. Um, this has two guitars, both of them panned left and right on the mixer track. Let's go check it out, what we have on there. So basically, we just have two things enabled. First one is Ben Bruce Stoneforge amp, and the second one is this kickstart, which is actually just sidechaining it to the kick. And then the same thing is over here with a different microphone on the amp and a sidechain. Everything else is disabled because I was trying to experiment with a few things, and yeah, what I just kept whatever was working. And then this is going into two different mixer tracks or two different buses. On the main one here, we just have an EQ, which is taking out everything above 1200 hertz and below 291 hertz, because I was trying to keep it tight and not let a lot of frequencies overlap with other elements. And then we have some more EQ, which is doing a little bit of different thing, because I was listening to it and I was getting like, yeah, this part is still prominent, so I was taking it out. And then we have some EQ for no reason, and we have some rift, which is being automated and has a flanger, so it comes later in the track. And we have some neutron exciter, which is just giving it some saturation. I'm going to show you before and after. So this is before, this is after. It's just tightening the sound so it just sits right in the mix. And yeah, that's it for the main lead guitars. Now I'm gonna show you another one. This one is acting like a body for the rest of the guitars. So this is probably an octave lower, and we have a few things going on here. I don't know why I have this here. I'm just probably experimenting. Then we have some Ben Bruce again as the amp, some EQ doing some crazy things. Then we have the kickstart for sidechaining, and then we have another EQ from UAD, which is just taking out some of the 300 hertz, and we have some chorus to give it some width, and again we have rift, which is being automated as flanger, and then we have some EQ, probably for automation purposes. I don't know, maybe I was trying something. And then we have some imager, which is again being automated during parts of the track. So here's the before, here's the after. Major stuff is being done by ToneForge. So if I remove that, so yeah, there's that. And then we have a little bit of effects over here. Just filling in the space, and yeah, then we have some other stuff which is filling in the space, some glitchy effects from Serum. It's really low in volume. I'm just gonna try to copy that there. So without the effects, it's just very high saw wave, and then it's going through some effects, primarily rift, which is giving that texture. And then we have some thermal over here, which is giving some saturation, and some EQ, taking out the lows, and some more EQ, trying to control the high-end frequencies. Now we're gonna go over to the bass. So this was made in Serum and has some processing on it. I'm gonna show you. So this is just a wavetable called Saw Rift, and I'm automating some stuff through the LFO here. And yeah, let me show you how it sounds. Exactly like that. So we have some effects also going on here. It's pretty simple, actually, just this wavetable, and we are going into a bunch of distortion. So if we disable all of that, it's pretty basic. And with the distortion, yeah, so it's pretty low in octave as well. So going through that, we have these effects. So we have over the top compression, then we have rift, and we have sidechain. Then we have another sidechain to take care of any of the artifacts that come after the sound. Yeah, that one. And we have some EQ again to control the low mids and some low end, and also taking care of any of the high end frequencies which are like super high. And yeah, that's just being rendered through this, and probably has some more EQ. Yeah, just taking off some of the minor details to fit better in the mix. And yeah, so I'm gonna play you how it sounds on its own. One more thing is on the top of our atmosphere is this mini brood dark atmos patch. Just pretty low in volume, actually. We just have side chaining on it, and that's it. So yeah, that's pretty much the main part of the theme. Like that's the core of everything. Now let's just go to the drums here. Let me show you how they sound. So a few basic thing actually are this 808 kick here, just being layered with this drum sample here, which comes in only the parts where I have to emphasize it, like in each section here. I tried a few variations with the kick, but this was working just fine. We have some details with these percussions here. This just has some reverb on it, which has already been consolidated. And then we have this clap. A lot of reverb on this from Valhalla Vintage Verb. And I think same is case with this one. Actually has a lot of stuff. So let me solo this for you. Yeah, that's how it sounds. Actually, yeah, that's going into a bus. Yeah, that's how it sounds. So I'm gonna go through the effects one by one and show you what everything is doing. So this is some decapitator doing a lot of distortion on it. You have some EQ, actually narrowing down the frequency range of this sound. And then we have some corrosion here, adding some noise. And then we have a lot of EQing, trying to create a tonal effect and then trying to give it some body. And then all of that is going to this bus here, which has a transient designer, which is boosting the attack of the top end and taking down the sustain on both of the bands a little bit. And then we have some EQ, again taking care of the really extreme low end and some cleaning up of the mid range here. And then we have this EQ, just again rounding off the edges. You may think why there are so many instances of EQ. It happens because when you are mixing this thing, you are trying to make non-destructive decisions. So I know this EQ is doing a little bit, so I'm gonna use another instance of EQ instead of just going to destroy this. So I can always easily go back to where I was. Yeah, so then we have some soothe, trying to control some resonances, just doing barely anything. And then one of the main parts of the drum is the snare. So this is a combination of this sample and this one. So this one is actually from the original theme which plays during the fight scene. So I kind of tried to rip it off, but this was in it. First I tried to make it with this snare, but it wasn't as good as the one in the theme. So I tried to layer it with this one. First, I'm gonna show you how I tried to remake it. So this here is the sample without anything. And now, yeah, so let's go over everything one by one. Now, see, we have some neutron exciter, which is just giving it a lot of saturation. And then we have EQ. Then we have EQ, low passing it. And then we have some saturation, again, distortion with this. And then we have some EQ, again, trying to boost up some of the high end, which was brought back by the distortion. We have some more EQ, again, controlling that. We have some stuff in the patcher, doing a parallel processing for the distorted reverb sound, which is also being giving some width with the Haas effect. And yeah, so Haas effect is actually when you try to delay one signal, like the left and the right signal, there is a time difference between those two signals, so which creates a width. So um, yeah, I'm trying to do that with this here. And then we have some transient shaper giving it a lot of attack. And then we have some thermal here giving it a lot of saturation. Yeah, that's it for this sound. So once again, I'm gonna show you the before and after. And then we have on this layer, which probably doesn't have anything, just has an EQ taking care of the low end. So in combination, it sounds. Um, Next up we have is these hats, just trying to follow the rhythm of the theme. Probably has some stuff on the mixer. Yeah, we have some transient shaper, which is taking out a lot of the sustain from the high end. So let me show you before and after. We have some EQ, basically giving it that radio effect. And Then we have some stereo shaper again, doing that harsh effect to make it more wide. And yeah, then let's go with the drums again. That's basically everything in the drums in this part. Now we're gonna move on to the next section. Oh yeah, one more thing. In the intro, it's everything that's playing here just being filtered with actually an EQ here, which deactivates here. Just has a balance automation here for the volume, if anyone was wondering about that. Now, the next section that comes in has this alarm sound. My CPU is dying here. So this is the main alarm sound here. So for the ducking, I'm using Kickstart. And some EQ to take out all of the high end. And then it becomes this. Which is the same sound, just with a bit of processing on it. We have the EQ, the kickstart, and then we have some guitar rig on it with Acid Screamer preset. So before. So yeah, it creates a really nice effect on that. And then we have this atmosphere patch just is extended. And to accompany that siren sound, we have this guitar, which is probably, yeah, so a bunch of amps. And then we have some EQ, taking out all of that harshness in the highs. And then we have some reverb on this. And then that's going through, again, some thermal, more distortion, and some stereo shaping to give it some width. And we have some EQ to take care of the mid-range. So I'm gonna show you the before and after. Yeah, pretty subtle, but it works. Here is how it sounds with this. So again, with this also, I tried a few variations, but this one was working, so I kept this. So the next addition in this section are these sounds, which is just a horn from Mini Brute, which just has a kickstart on it. And then we have this. This is just providing the main melody, kind of that high-end sizzling. This is the Hoover preset from Mini Brute, and it just has some EQ on it, controlling that high end. Yeah, and this is how it sounds. Apologies for my CPU just dying out. The next section is just cutting out on all of these sounds. So making it a little bit more simplistic. We introduce it with these drums. So I'm going to show you what is going on here. So the same glitchy serum thing. Then we have this ode in here, just playing a single note. Then we have this mini brute here, playing the bass, classic sub bass preset. And then we have some horns. Which is giving this bass some mid range. And then we have this ode in here, which is playing muted notes. So on the mixer track, this has an Arch type Gojira amp, and then we have some kickstart doing the sidechain, and then we have some EQ taking out all of the highs and the lows to give it that telephone effect. And yeah, so one more thing is this sweep just has a kickstart on it for the side chaining. Yeah, that's everything in this section. Now we move on to the next one. We have one addition in the drums is this. So let's play this first. Again, I apologize for the drums. Actually, I'm gonna disable the master and see if it works. So, I'm gonna show you what it is. It's actually a stripped down version of this part. So, as you can see, the siren is gone here, and the notes are a bit more continuous than this section. And yeah, then that's everything. And for the next part, again, stripped it down pretty much, which only has this snare. You can see I just have faded the starting point of this snare, just like this. And we have disabled everything, just this smooth bass is playing here. So for this part, we have a few things. First of all, this hi-hat here is reversed. So this has few things. It has a riff, which has this preset. And then we have some thermal over here to give it some saturation. Here it's how it sounds. And yeah, then we have some omnisphere just for transitional effect. Then this pad comes in again, this atmospheric thing. We have the same bass as before. Then that percussion comes in again, and the kick drum has a different rhythm. Just have the claps playing here instead of the snare. In this section, we have the guitar from the previous section just playing one note, but we also have some flanging going on it with riff. So let me show you that. It's being automated to come in only this particular section. And then yeah, then this continues into the final section. Again, my CPU is dying, so if you want, you can go check out the full theme in the description below. We also have some of these orchestral impacts. And yeah, then the theme continues. Everything is just the same as the previous section. We just have a different rhythm for the kick drum and a little bit of addition to this hi-hat, which has riff on it. I'm going to show you this section by itself. So I'm going to show you this section by itself. So towards the end, we also have this riser, which I made using the UAD Polymax. Um, so this has a few things. It's this amp, and then we have some EQ, some pitch bending. Then we have some reverb, some EQ, and some sidechain. And that basically concludes everything. Towards the end, we just have this deep impact. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the whole theme. So leave your thoughts down in the comments and tell me what you think. And all of these themes are available to download on my Patreon, so you can go to the link in the description and go download it. And yeah, thank you so much for watching.